When I tell you to give everything you've got, I mean stop rationing your energy, stop putting limits on your grind, stop saving strength for a later day that might never even come. You've been holding back and you don't even realize it. You've been giving half effort and expecting full rewards. You've been doing just enough to survive, but not enough to break through. And that's why you're still in the same place. That's why your goals are still on paper instead of reality, because you've never truly emptied yourself. You've never truly gone all in. You've never truly said, I'm going to pour out every drop of my soul until there is nothing left. You've got to understand that dream don't respond to laziness. Goals don't answer halfway effort. Success doesn't bow to people who just try. It bows to people who give every ounce of energy they've got. It bows to people who stay locked in when everyone else is distracted. It bows to people who wake up earlier, stay up later, push harder, dig deeper. Because only when you give everything do you open the door to everything. And the problem with most people is they give what's convenient, not what's necessary. They give what's comfortable, not what's required. They give leftovers instead of sacrifice. And then they get mad when life doesn't hand them greatness. Let me ask you something. When you wake up in the morning, are you really giving your best? Or are you just checking boxes? When you show up for your craft, do you bring your whole heart or just enough to say you tried? When you train, when you study, when you work, are you sweating? Are you bleeding? Are you leaving it all out there? Or are you holding something back for safety? Because if you're holding back, you'll never know what you could have been. If you're holding back, you'll never taste the full power of your own potential. If you're holding back, you're robbing yourself of the life you say you want. You can't keep waiting for the right mood to give effort. You can't keep waiting for motivation to show up. You can't keep waiting for perfect conditions. You've got to bring your best on the days you feel weak, on the days you're tired, on the days nothing goes right. Because that's when champions are made. Not when it's easy, but when it's hard. Not when the crowd is cheering, but when nobody is watching. Not when it feels good, but when it hurts. That's when you find out who you really are. And only the ones who give everything in those moments ever get to taste greatness. Most of you are saving energy for later like you've got a second life in your back pocket. You're pacing yourself like this is a rehearsal. You're playing like you'll get another season. But you don't. This is it. This is your one shot. And if you don't pour out everything you've got into this moment, it's gone forever. And you'll never know what could have happened. You'll never know what level you could have reached. You'll never know what legacy you could have left because you kept something back that should have been given. I'm telling you right now, you can't keep doing just enough and expect to be great. You can't keep giving half of yourself and wonder why you're not where you want to be. You've got to give your whole self, mind, body, heart, soul. Every part of you has to be invested in this dream. Every part of you has to be committed to this grind. Every part of you has to be locked into the mission because greatness only bows to total commitment. And if you're still saving something for later, you're not ready for it yet. Think about the people who inspire you, the ones who change the world, the ones whose names you'll never forget. They didn't get there by coasting. They didn't get there by holding back. They didn't get there by saving energy for tomorrow. They got there because they went all in today. They poured themselves out. They sacrificed, they bled, they burned every ounce of fuel they had. And when they were empty, they found a way to give more. And that's why they're remembered. Because they gave everything they had and didn't stop until they had nothing left. To give, some of you are scared to go all in because you're afraid. If you give everything and fail, then what? You're afraid of finding out your best might not be good enough. But let me tell you something. Failure after giving everything is honorable. Failure after giving everything is educational. Failure after giving everything builds a new version of you that can't be stopped. But failure after holding back will haunt you forever because you'll always wonder, if I had given more, would I have won? If I had gone all in, would I have made it? If I had poured everything out, would my dream have come true? That's the kind of regret that never leaves you. And that's why you can't hold back. There are people right now who don't have half your resources, don't have half your talent, don't have half your opportunity. But they're still beating you. They're still passing you. They're still winning because while you're rationing your energy, they're giving everything. While you're pacing yourself, they're sprinting. While you're distracted, they're locked in. And at the end of the day, effort beats talent when talent refuses to give effort. Hunger beats skill when skill refuses to be hungry. Fire beats comfort when comfort refuses to burn. And if you don't decide to give everything you've got, you're going to watch someone else lick the life that was meant for you. Every time you think about slowing down, remind yourself that somebody else is grinding when you're resting. Somebody else is studying when you're distracted. Somebody else is putting in hours while you're making excuses. And when it's time to reap the harvest, don't get mad when they get the prize. Don't get bitter when they get the position. Don't get jealous when they get the spotlight. Because deep down, you know you didn't give what they gave. You know you didn't pour out like they did. You know you kept something back, and life always rewards those who give everything. You've got to get to the place where giving less than your best is unacceptable. You've got to get to the place where cutting corners makes you sick. You've got to get to the place where you can't sleep unless you know you poured yourself out. You've got to get to the place where anything less than all of you feels like failure, because that's what it takes. That's the mindset that will separate you. That's the mindset that will elevate you. That's the mindset that will open doors nobody thought you could open. But you've got to stop holding back. Every morning you wake up with a choice. Give part of yourself or give all of yourself. Go halfway or go all the way. And the choice you make every single day shapes your destiny. You can keep choosing halfway and live a halfway life. Or you can choose all in and live a life that people will talk about long after you're gone. But the decision is yours. Nobody can force you. Nobody can do it for you. You've got to decide if your dream is worth giving everything for. And if it is, then stop holding back. Stop pacing yourself. Stop saving energy. Pour it out every drop, every breath, every moment. Give it all now.
There is a subtlety in the lies that keep you unprepared. A subtlety so fine that it does not sound like rebellion, but rather like reason. Not like a snare, but rather like wisdom. Not like chains, but rather like comfort. This is why so many walk unaware into the abyss. For they do not recognize the voice that deceives them. They mistake it for their own thoughts, for common sense, for the ordinary rhythm of life. The danger is not only in what you reject, but in what you accept as harmless, for it is in the harmless things that the deadliest poison is often concealed. The lie does not come to you clothed in horror. It comes to you wrapped in familiarity, in routine, in pleasures that look innocent, and in distractions that look normal. It tells you that your life is too busy to think of weightier matters, that your responsibilities are noble enough to excuse neglect, that your pleasures are small enough to be forgiven, that your sins are mild enough to be overlooked. And with each whisper, with each indulgence, with each postponement, you are lulled into the sleep that makes you unready. The sleep from which many do not wake. Think of the man who sits down to rest for just a moment, telling himself that he will rise shortly, that he will continue his journey after a little sleep, but the sleep grows heavy, and the hours pass unnoticed, and by the time he stirs, the road has been lost. The sun has set, and his chance to arrive is gone. This is the picture of the soul that yields to distraction. The lie does not tell you to run away from truth outright. It merely tells you to rest a little, to put it off, to enjoy the passing moment before you take up the serious matter. And yet that rest becomes a chain. That postponement becomes a habit. That enjoyment becomes a slavery. What began as a harmless delay ends as a permanent neglect, and what seemed like leisure becomes the very snare of death. This is why the distractions of life are not light matters, for they are not only taking your time, but they are shaping your eternity. The comfort of distraction is like a soft bed, in which you feel safe, in which you feel sheltered, but beneath it the floor is rotting, and beneath that floor is a pit without bottom. While you are busy with the surface, the collapse is already advancing, the danger already rising, the structure already failing, though your ears are filled with music, though your hands are filled with bread, though your eyes are filled with light. It is possible to feel safe while being in the gravest peril, and it is possible to feel comfort while being on the very brink of ruin. This is the nature of the lie. It does not show you the end. It only shows you the beginning. It does not let you see the pit. It only shows you the flowers that line the path. It does not let you hear the screams. It only lets you hear the laughter of the crowd walking beside you. And so you are deceived not because you are weak, but because you are willing to believe what flatters you, willing to accept what costs you nothing, willing to follow what pleases your senses, even when it blinds your soul, and yet deep inside you know the truth. You know that the pleasures you cling to are not lasting, that the distractions you entertain yourself with are not enough, that the comforts you build around yourself are fragile. You know it when the laughter fades. You know it when the room grows silent. You know it when the night comes and the soul is left alone with its own voice. But you silence that knowing. You cover it with noise. You drown it with activity. You smother it with routine. You bury it with excuses. You say others live this way too. You say life is too short to be serious. You say everyone deserves some comfort, and thus the lie deepens its hold. For every excuse is not only an answer to conscience, it is also a chain fastened tighter around the soul, and by the time you realize how bound you are, the chains have already become your skin, the prison your home, the blindness your normal sight. This is how distraction works. It does not attack you openly, but gently convinces you that nothing urgent is being neglected. See how the world is full of lights and sounds, how it is engineered to keep your attention from ever settling on what matters. The merchants of distraction know this well. They sell you images that keep your eyes occupied, songs that keep your ears occupied, devices that keep your hands occupied, pleasures that keep your heart occupied. They tell you that this is life, that this is freedom, that this is joy, and you believe it because it numbs you. It keeps you from asking the dangerous questions. It keeps you from facing the silence where the voice still speaks. It is not that these things are evil in themselves, but when they become the walls that keep you from hearing, the veils that keep you from seeing, the chains that keep you from moving, then they have already served their master's purpose. You do not need to worship idols of stone when you can worship comfort. You do not need to bow to images of gold when you can bow to the glow of distraction. The lie is not in the thing itself, but in the story it tells you, in the role it plays in keeping you unready, unawakened, unprepared, and this is the true danger, that you come to believe that being unready is not dangerous. You think readiness can be postponed. You think preparation can be delayed. You think warning can be ignored without consequence. The lie tells you that all will work out in the end, that mercy is endless, that judgment is a tale for others, that your own life will somehow escape the rule that binds all men. And so you walk forward blindfolded, with your ears stuffed, with your heart dulled, not realizing that every step brings you closer to the cliff. It is not that you hate the truth. It is that you never stopped long enough to hear it. It is not that you rejected the light. It is that you kept your eyes always busy with other things. And when the moment comes, when the silence falls, when the curtain rises on what you tried to avoid, then you will see that comfort was your enemy, that distraction was your snare, that the lie you believed was not harmless but fatal. The subtlety of the lie is that it dresses itself as kindness. It tells you not to be too hard on yourself, not to burden yourself with heavy thoughts, not to spoil your joy with seriousness. It tells you that life is meant to be enjoyed, that you deserve rest, that you have plenty of time, that the warnings are too severe. And who does not want to believe this? Who does not want to rest easy, to enjoy themselves, to feel safe? But see how the poison works. It does not strike your body, it numbs your soul. It does not kill you with pain, it kills you with ease. It is not the wolf that devours you. It is the lullaby that sends you to sleep while the wolf creeps nearer. And by the time you wake, if you wake at all, the jaws have already closed. This is why the subtle lies of comfort and distraction are far more dangerous than open threats, for they disarm you not by frightening you, but by soothing you. They destroy you not by terrifying you, but by making you feel safe. You think you are free because no chains are visible, but the chains are within, fastened to your affections, tied to your habits, bound to your loves. You think you are strong because you feel no struggle. But the reason you feel no struggle is that you have already surrendered. You have already let yourself be led. You have already yielded to the current. You think you are at peace because you feel no alarm, but the silence you call peace may in fact be the quiet of a battle already lost. And so you mistake your slavery for freedom, your numbness for safety, your blindness for peace. This is the deepest deception of all, to be bound and not know it, to be asleep and think yourself awake, to be lost and imagine yourself safe. And it is here that the subtle lie completes its work. For a man who knows he is bound will seek deliverance, but a man who believes he is free while in chains will never cry for help. Therefore, the warning comes again. Do not trust the comfort that keeps you unready. Do not believe the distraction that makes you delay. Do not yield to the lie that whispers you have time. For the cost is greater than you can bear, the danger nearer than you imagine, the end more final than you dare to think. To skip the call because you feel comfortable is to walk willingly into ruin. To treat distraction as harmless is to treat poison as harmless. To embrace the lie that you have time is to embrace the very rope that will tighten around your neck. The subtlety of the lie is its greatest power. But the voice within you knows better. The voice within you has always known. The voice has always whispered, always stirred, always warned. Do not silence it again. Do not bury it beneath comfort. Do not drown it beneath noise. For every moment you do, the danger grows, the hour shortens, the chains tighten, and your unpreparedness becomes the very path by which you descend into what cannot be undone.
Everybody says they want to win until they get punched in the mouth. Everybody says they want success until life knocks them down. Everybody says they're built for this until it gets hard. And that's the difference between those who make it and those who don't, those who reach greatness and those who stay average. The ones who win are not always the smartest, not always the strongest, not always the most talented, but they are the ones who refuse to quit no matter how hard it gets. They are the ones who look pain in the face and say, "Is that all you got?" They are the ones who get knocked down 7 times and get back up 8. They are the ones who decide that quitting is not an option. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. You've got to get it in your mind that quitting is a decision. It's not something that happens to you. It's not something life forces on you. Quitting is a choice you make. And as long as you have breath in your body, you've got the power to choose to keep going. And when you choose to keep going, something powerful happens. You build resilience. You build character. You build grit. You build the muscle that makes you unstoppable, because talent will fade. Opportunities will dry up. Resources will run out, but grit will keep you in the fight long enough to win. The truth is, life will test you. Life will break you down. Life will strip you of everything you thought you needed. Life will take your comfort. Life will take your security. Life will take your peace. And in those moments, most people quit. Most people tap out. Most people say this is too much. But the rare few who keep pressing, the rare few who refuse to quit, those are the ones who discover what they're really made of. Those are the ones who unlock levels of themselves they didn't even know existed. Those are the ones who find greatness on the other side of pain. You've got to stop thinking quitting is an option. You've got to take it off the table completely. You've got to tell yourself, I don't care what happens, I will not stop. I don't care how bad it gets, I will not stop. I don't care how long it takes, I will not stop. I don't care who leaves me, who doubts me, who laughs at me. I will not stop, because if you can develop that kind of mindset, nothing can beat you. Not failure, not pain, not rejection, not loss, not heartbreak, because none of those things are final unless you quit. Some of you keep quitting too early. You keep giving up right before the breakthrough. You keep walking away when you were only inches away from the prize. You keep letting the weight of the moment blind you from the promise of the future. You've got to understand that sometimes the darkest nights are right before the dawn. Sometimes the hardest battles are right before the victory. Sometimes the greatest pain comes right before the biggest reward. But you'll never see it if you quit. You'll never touch it if you stop. You'll never experience it if you walk away. There are people who could have been legends, people who could have been champions, people who could have been icons, but we never heard their names because they quit. They had the ability, but they quit. They had the opportunity, but they quit. They had the potential, but they quit. And the world never got to see what they were capable of. Don't let that be you. Don't let your name be erased from history because you gave up when it got hard. Don't let your dream die because you decided the pain was too much. Don't let your legacy vanish because you chose the easy way out. When you refuse to quit, you send a message to life itself that says, I'm not going anywhere. You can hit me. You can knock me down. You can break me, but I will not stop. And eventually life gets tired of hitting you. Eventually obstacles get tired of standing in your way. Eventually the storm runs out of rain, but only if you outlast it. Only if you refuse to quit. Only if you stay standing when everything else tells you to sit down. You've got to understand quitting doesn't make it easier. Quitting doesn't make the pain go away. Quitting doesn't solve the problem. Quitting only guarantees that you'll never reach the goal. Quitting only guarantees that you'll never taste victory. Quitting only guarantees that all your effort, all your struggle, all your sacrifices were wasted. So if you're going to hurt anyway, if you're going to cry anyway, if you're going to struggle anyway, you might as well keep going. You might as well fight through it. You might as well get something out of it, because pain without progress is pointless. But pain with persistence produces power. The people you admire, the people you look up to, the people you call heroes, every single one of them has a story of refusing to quit. Every single one of them has scars. Every single one of them has losses. Every single one of them has failures. But they also have persistence. They also have resilience. They also have a refusal to quit. And that's why they're where they are. That's why you know their names. That's why their stories inspire you. Not because it was easy, but because they endured when it was hard.